Healing from a toxic relationship. Hello, all you beautiful souls out there in my social media family. How are you doing today? My name is Chris, and I'm here to help you find your happiness. In today's video, we're going to be discussing healing from a toxic relationship. Now, if you're anything like me in the past, usually after a breakup, I'm able to heal quite quickly, right? And for example, after I got divorced, that hit me a little harder, but that relationship wasn't toxic whatsoever. It's just a matter of the fact that we grew apart. So even though it was difficult for me to heal from that, I was eventually able to use the normal things that I had done in the past to heal from a relationship. And one of the things, though, is after I got divorced, I was in a couple of very, very toxic relationships, and with the second one being even worse, because that was with somebody who had narcissistic personality disorder. And if any of you are familiar with that, it is an extremely, extremely toxic environment to be in when you're in a relationship with somebody like that. And what happened to me is, because of that toxicity, the normal things that I had done in the past to heal from a relationship just weren't working. And for the longest time, I really struggled with not being able to figure out why those things that I had done in the past weren't working. So it really caused me to start really looking within and stop looking externally for answers. And that was the first part of my healing journey, was realizing that the answers to my happiness did not lie in another person or in any external situations. That happiness had to come from within. And how did I start healing from that? Well, I figured out that I needed to really take advantage of the power of love, the power of forgiveness, and the power of acceptance. And through those things, I was able to really start to heal myself from within, right? I used the power of love to figure out how to regain that self-respect. Now, you might think that would help me figure out the love, but it actually helped me figure out how to regain that self-respect for myself, right? And also, how can I put it, is just really figure out that, that I needed to love myself first before I can expect anybody else to love me in the fashion of which I would want them to. Now, the power of forgiveness is what really helped me figure out that self-love again, right? And the person that I had to forgive the most was myself. And, it's the hardest person to forgive as well. Now, just to give you a little bit of backstory about that is, the power of forgiveness is important because we need to be able to forgive others for things that, they have done to us. And it's not necessarily that you are, by any means whatsoever, making, what they did okay to you. By forgiving someone, you're not saying that what they did to you was okay, right? Or validating it in any way. What you're actually doing is letting that other person know, and letting yourself know, that what they did to you no longer has control over your emotions and the way that you live your life. So that was probably one of the most extremely important things for me to figure out, that self-love, was forgiving others so that way they didn't control my emotions. In addition, was forgiving myself for not knowing the things that I knew now, and for the mistakes that I have made, right? And what made that a lot easier for me was realizing that in order to be able to allow all these other good things that are just waiting to come into my life, I had to clear that space in my heart in order to be able to allow these other things that are so amazing that are coming into my life right now, since I've been able to do that. So through that, I ended up writing a letter to myself of forgiveness, the same way that I had written letters of forgiveness to other people. And I remember sitting there, and after I wrote myself that letter is when all of the really big healing started, in that complete release of the past actually happened, right? So whether you choose to do that or not, to forgive other people, that's on you. At least, at minimum, make sure that you forgive yourself, right? And then the third part of this situation, right, or actually the healing aspect, was the power of acceptance, right? And that is accepting the past for what it is, right? We have to understand that we cannot change the past, and so there's nothing that we can do about it other than just learn from it, right? So it's extremely important that we accept our reality for what it is now, right? Instead of trying to keep living in the past or relive, those situations that keep us in that stagnated state of being. So in addition to accepting, what has happened, right? Like for my divorce, I had to accept that I was, got divorced. And until I was able to accept that, I wasn't able to heal from it. But even more so, to take that a step further, I had to learn to accept myself for exactly who I am today, right? In order to have other people be able to accept me for who I am. And once I was able to, figure out the self-respect, figure out the self-love, the last part was the acceptance of all of everything. And the way that I was able to do that is by realizing that each of those things that have happened in the past were things for me to learn from, not for me to suffer from. Now, obviously, when we're in the moment, we're going to be in that suffering, and hey, that's okay. You have to allow yourself that time to experience and let those emotions pass through. And then that's when you can accept them for what they are and then start to learn from them. All right. So if you're having that problem, if you're, just getting out of a toxic relationship and you're having that problem healing, I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions, right? Do you love yourself? Do you respect yourself? And do you accept yourself? Right? And if the answer to those is no, then start using the power of love, the power of forgiveness, and the power of acceptance to start bringing happiness into your life. All right, everybody, I hope that you found this video helpful. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up button, and please share this video with somebody who you think might benefit from it, because we never know when the right words from the right person will hit somebody at the right time and help them find their happiness. All right, until next time, I'm sending y'all much love. Namaste.